Well, I think the guys were just played a little bit looser. I think they had a little bit more fun. Give Minot a lot of credit. They came here to win, right? They competed hard. They controlled the clock. They controlled the time of possession. We held them to a field goal early, which was huge. And then the turnover that they had inside the 1-yard line was monumental in us, not feeling that extra pressure coming out of half. And I thought our players responded really well. I think they felt good about our prospectus to win the game. And I tried to remind them at halftime that we're up, right? Look, you saw a lot of stoic stone faces in the room, that they were in shock. And you got to give teams credit, right? They come here and they play, they compete, and coach has got a really tough crew over at Minot, and they're not afraid to go toe-to-toe with anybody. So, it ended up being a 18-point win, and in the second half it felt more dominant, right? I felt that our defense made some good adjustments after the first drive that they had. They had a couple of things that they were doing a little bit differently in the second half that I thought our coaches responded well to. But you can't overcommit to different things and do those types of things to leave people wide open and being able to run down the sideline. But I thought, Emanuel Spiyee's turnover, I believe it was in the first half, correct? He had an interception in the first half that was huge, right? They were pushing and knocking at the door on that drive as well. And Mitchell Thompson for, scoring a couple of touchdowns. He only threw the ball 7 times, and I think he went 6 of 7 and had some impressive throws. And he almost had a 2-minute drive right before half. I think the wind knocked the ball down a little bit, and it was just a little bit too long for us to try a field goal. It would have been a 50-yarder in a deadhead wind, and I'm not so sure I'd want to push anybody out there to try and make that field goal. So I think we did the right thing in trying to throw a Hail Mary, but I thought the wind definitely knocked it down a little bit. But proud of our players, right? I'm proud of the line. It was a little eye-opening that we had 200 yards rushing. It didn't necessarily feel like that, but it was definitely a grinded-out kind of game. Sam Backer had a great game, as well as Trayshawn Watson, right? Trayshawn Watson, this is 2 games in a row that he's been nothing short of exceptional. And Mitchell's post into the wind in the second half was a great throw, and against the wind it's not easy to do. So that was definitely a key part of the game as well. Lots of key things in the game, but I thought it was definitely it was an offensive game, and we fortunately stopped them enough times to keep them off the scoreboard.
Mitchell, was the fact that the run game got going earlier helpful to you in the second half in terms of being able to hook up with Trayshawn?
I'd say it definitely helped a bit, but we pride ourselves in being able to run the ball and then take our shots when needed. And we work on that every day at practices. We take our shots when needed, and I trust him. I know he trusts me, and the O-line blocks for me. Shout out to them. I mean, they played their butts off today, and they gave me the time to be able to deliver that to him in that situation. So I would say the run game helped, but just the ultimate faith, trust and belief in your guys is what really gets it done.
And Emanuel, you're looking for a turning point in the game, kind of similar to last week. You come up with the interception this time. It was Amon last week. Describe what happened on that play and what you were looking at.
Well, I had to stay over the top of 2 guys, and both of them were running the routes, and then I just saw the QB throw the ball, and it just came right at me. So I just squeezed onto it and got a pick.
Did you feel like the momentum of the game turned in your favor after that moment?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely the energy was up after that.
Todd, first, when I watched Max play there time, I know he finished 7 of 16, but I felt there were times he could have been 13 for 16, a couple overthrows, a couple bobbles. How do you keep a quarterback in the second game composed and not kind of let those missed opportunities build up to him?
Yeah, the quarterback position is another position for Minnesota State, and so far we've played a couple of guys in 2 games. We'll reassess, reevaluate every week and see where it takes us. But we have faith, trust, and belief in Mitchell and in Maximus. And, there's some things that, in talking to Maximus, I think there was 2 situations where we ended up kicking a field goal on one for sure, and we might have kicked a second one where there was tons of coverage everywhere, and they emptied out the box with linebackers, and I thought he could have taken that one off the shelf and ran that one in, and then he was out of the pockets once again and tried to throw it over the defender's head where I think he could have tucked that in. So I think some of these plays, in these quarterbacks' infant stages of their performances, there are situations where sometimes you just got to let it rip, but you also need to be able to take the ball off the shelf and make decisions that are in the betterment of the team and do what's best for the team in those situations. So, offensively, we did phenomenal, right? Second half, 24 points. That's not easy to put 24 points on the board in any half, let alone a tight football game. 4 for 4 in the red zone, which is exceptionally impressive, and 2 for 2 on fourth down. So our third down percentage, a little bit to be desired. We're once again just a little bit below 50%, but we've got plenty of work to do. We're definitely excited where we're at. It's nice to win that first conference game, right? Only half the teams today are going to be 1-0, and the other half are going to be 0-1. So we're in a good position right now, and we're looking forward to celebrating this one, and then we'll look forward to next week.
Emanuel, last week, more of a spread offense, more of a what you expect from 125 this week. There was some formations that looked like there was great from the 1960s. What was the biggest adjustment going from the Bearcats last week to now this week with Minot State, at least from your perspective? And once pass heavy, now it's just run heavy.
The biggest thing that I feel like us corners had to really just focus on was our eye discipline, and we had to be patient because they're just running it. But we are the last defense in the pass, and when they do get that pass play off, it could be some detrimental. So coaches really made sure that we were disciplined and we were patient, and that we just had to do our job really, and then
Mitch, as of right now, with your target ratio on your 8 for 8, 230 yards and 3 touchdowns, what's working so well between you two?
I would say just the trust we have in each other. The works we put in this summer, throwing in the evenings, whether it was deep balls or any route or concept we have, it's just it all comes down to the faith, trust, and belief in each other that he's going to be at his landmark or I'm going to get him the ball. I just know that when you got a guy like that, you can throw him 50-50 balls can become 90-10 balls. So just having that trust in him to be able to come down with that is pretty special to have a guy like that, I would say for sure.
Gotcha. That opens up to anybody. On the road next week at Minnesota Duluth, what's the excitement level from first 2 games at home, now you're getting the road for the first time this year?
We got 24 hours to celebrate this one, but it's definitely been in the back of our minds, and we can't wait to be able to go on the road and hopefully go 1-0 next week as well.
Yeah, I think it's it's a big time matchup, right? In week 2 of the conference, week 3 of the season, and seeing them on tape a little bit, they're definitely well equipped to win football games. So we'll have our hands full. We're going to have to play exceptionally well to win on the road, something we haven't done since 2017.